All right, everybody, we're going to be starting just about 40 seconds earlier, but I wanted to go ahead and get started because we have a lot to cover tonight. I know we'll have some people logging in, but if you are on the road, please remain with your camera off in the session and your cell phone mute. We love you, but there is nothing more important than your life. If you're watching this as a replay on YouTube, please know that this is being recorded so that you can get to your computer safely, rewind it, and watch whatever's on there. The only way we can do you good is if you are still alive. So please don't put yourself at risk by listening to us while you are driving around. All right, so with that said, today we have quite a bit to go over. We have a couple of things. I have some things I want to go over about marketing. We've gone over a lot the last few weeks, and I want to jog your minds. Toward the end of the session, we're going to have Judi Lawrence, who is, we know her as Queen Judi. She's going to be with us telling us about her new book and introducing us to what I think is a great concept for a book. And then after the session, just so everybody knows, if you'd like to stay around, and I'll try to mention this for those who are coming in later to the session, we will be going over the email that was sent out about BankServe. If you have received this letter, there's a lot of new requirements for BankServe, and I've gotten lots of emails over it. So what I plan on doing is cutting this into 2 sessions tonight. We're going to do our regular general mentorship, and then we're going to have Judi present. And then what we're going to do is do that email, line by line together. I will cut the recording, and then I will make a separate recording just for that, so that you can hyper focus on it if you need to come back to it. So with that said, welcome everybody. Today is May 15th, 2023, and I'm going to get us started with some micro topics to kind of get your brain turning. Now, if you brought questions to this session and you are looking to get answers, please go ahead and raise your hand to get into the virtual queue so that we can get to your questions after a little bit of micro topic. Once we get those questions answered, we're going to save about 15-20 minutes for Judi so that she can give us everything we need to know about her new book that's out. So guys, we've gone over a lot in the last couple of general mentorships, and I just want to remind you right up here at the top of the hour, if you haven't watched them, there's some really great sessions, and I've gotten lots of compliments off of them, so I know they're great sessions, but I'm going to read them off to you, and they'll actually be in the text that I posted to the link. The most common mistakes to avoid for notary signing agents. For those of you that are notary stars, this is a great refresher. The business is coming back. It's coming back slowly but surely. Every single week at Unlimited Ink for the last 4 to 5 weeks, we have only seen increases, and this is not just due to new business. Our existing clients are increasing their files monthly. So the business is on its way back. Now, I did do a general mentorship on where you should be looking for business. So I want to make sure to remind you of that, and I'll post a link to this in just a minute. And then I recently did one on if you're in this for the long haul, what you really need to be thinking about. I'm just going to read off some topics from this article that I'm about to post, and I'll put this on the replay as well. I'll post this for everyone in the meeting. This is an article that went out this weekend, and the title of this article is "What does the future look like for you as a signing agent?" I want to give you some thoughts that you need to be thinking about as a business owner, and just going to read these off. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to let you read the article because I want to get to your questions today. Again, make sure to raise those hands and get into the queue for these things. So the first thing is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we've gone over this at the beginning of the year about goal setting. We are now moving toward new business coming in, new escrow officers getting hired, new title companies are opening. We just got an email out of the blue today from a title company that's brand new in Florida that wanted to use Unlimited Ink notaries. This is not the first one that's come up in the last month or so. So you need to start reassessing your goals now. You probably built your goals at the beginning of the year with the idea that it was going to be slow all year. And now business is starting to come back. So please make sure to reassess your goals. Use this time right before it gets busy again, especially before the end of the year, to reassess what you're doing, what you need to do to position yourself for success. I want to remind you that focusing on the value of a product or service will bring you revenue, okay? If you just throw out a bunch of services that you're doing, it's not going to work. But if you perfect each service that you are offering. And I'm not just talking about Notary Stars training. We have Judi here, so this is a great time to plug this. If you are in an area where you can viably offer Apostille services and you want to perfect it, take Judi's course. You know, there are other classes coming up too. We have Live Scan coming up on the 22nd, an introduction to Live Scan with a professional trainer that knows everything about Live Scan. If you are interested in adding a product or service, just focus on the value of that product and the service, and that is what will make you revenue. If you don't really focus on it, you're not going to get to, and these are words of wisdom from like big names. I put them in the article. I want to remind you, and we did an entire series which is also in the article, linked out for you to watch the entire series for free. Customer service will always be your greatest asset. I can't stress this enough. I did an entire series last year. It's recorded. It'll be forever out there for you guys to watch for free. If you haven't, please make sure to watch that. I want to talk about this as well. I put this in the article and I feel it's really important. Small business owners must learn to analyze and be comfortable making big decisions. I see this problem in the notary industry more than I see any problem at this point after being in the training field for so long. When you're newer or when you're trying to make a decision on what product or service you're gonna add next, if you should increase your fees, you have to be able to analyze what is going on in my business and make a decision. Travis and I have a business meeting tomorrow about increasing fees for existing clients that we've never increased them for. We've always increased for new clients, but we've always been afraid to rock the boat and increase. And we know that the time has come. It is a business decision. Fortunately, I have two people now on the team, but I had to make those decisions for myself in the past. As a business owner, you really have to be able to make decisions and make them comfortably. I want to remind you too that your window for success is too short to learn everything through experience, especially in this industry. So when you first walk in, or if you're here and you don't know everything, turn to the professional trainers, analyze those trainers, read reviews about those trainers, and learn to shorten your learning curve. If you try to learn through experience, like I did, stupid Ronnie, I could have been Unlimited Ink years ago. I could have been Notary Stars years ago. But I let that window start closing and closing. I'm 42. I could have done this at 32, to be honest. I just didn't understand what I understand now. So please don't let the window of success close on you and try to learn everything through experience. Invest in your own future. I put this in there because we all learned this the hard way this year. Business owners must be adaptable and know when to grow or pivot. Sometimes you don't need to grow, okay? Sometimes you may be too busy to take on a new client and you'll start messing up with your existing clients and the new clients. Unlimited Ink has actually had to say, I'm sorry, this is not the time for us. Recently, one of the trainers, and I can say this because we pay a commission every month, Bill Sirocco, called me and said, hey, this is not my time for this client. It's one of Unlimited Ink's best clients out of Florida. And we pay them a commission every month for every file that they put in. You have to know when you can take on business. This is the part, and it kind of leads into just a few more things that I want to talk about today. And then again, if you have brought questions, please get those hand raised so we can get you into queue. No business will survive without marketing. And that's really my micro topic for today, but I had to throw this one in there as well. You should be spending 2 to 5% of your revenue on marketing your business. You will not grow without it. There is no business that just opens its doors and puts up a listing and hangs out a shingle and everybody starts running, okay? Every business out there has to advertise in some shape or form and spend money to do it. Now, do you need to spend tons and tons of money? No, but you need to be able to allocate money toward marketing, and I'll go over some of that in just a minute. I want to remind you of two more things, and then I'm going to move into that marketing micro topic for today of how are you marketing your notary business. And I learned this one the hard way, okay? And I refer to you when you sign up for Notary Stars, it says, welcome to the Notary Stars family. And when you work with Unlimited Ink, especially if you've worked in the last 6 years, you've always heard me say, I try to treat our notaries like their family. But I've learned this the hard way. The people that you work with, and I've learned this about clients too, the people that you work with are not your friends and family. They are your colleagues. You can have a wonderful relationship with them, but at the end of the day, you need to make sure that your support system is outside of your work environment, your real support system. Because guess what? If I died tomorrow, I know Travis and Beth love me, but they would spend by the end of the week trying to find someone to replace me. If Beth left, and I love Beth to death, I would have to get a replacement for her. Her family will miss her forever, but you have to look at business like it's business. Okay. You have to realize that you work so you can enjoy your family. I don't want you to get so caught up in making money and make this mistake that I did. I accidentally let 8 years go by and then just took an emotional trip to my mother, who almost passed away, to go visit her. Like, fortunately, everything's okay now, but I was working, and, I used COVID as an excuse, saying, oh, we're busy. I don't want to travel. I don't want to come in. I don't want to get you sick. This is part of being in business, and you need to understand this early on. I make a lot of mistakes. That was one of them. It was a big mistake for me. And I want to make sure that you hear everything about what it's like being in business for yourself, to not make the same mistakes I did. The last one that I want to point out to you before I go into the micro topic is business owners need to operate in fear. We learned this at the Level Up 2023 conference this year, and I'm going to keep repeating it. That conference buzz has kind of died down. We're going into the NNA conference. Maybe you'll hear that again. But on your way in between conferences, I want you to hear that again. Do it scared. If you are a brand new notary and you have taken training and you are sitting on the pot, so to speak, in the South, we have a saying, it's time to poo or get off the pot. If you have taken your training and you are sitting there passing up signings because you are scared, do it scared. Remember, fear and excitement exist on the same plane. They're the exact same motion. It just depends on which one you're connecting to. So do it scared, or change your fear into excitement. My way of saying it is, change your fear into excitement. Realize it's the similar emotion. But if you are out there and you have fear, realize that fear could actually be excitement. Get excited about what you're doing. Don't be scared of what you're doing. Now, I wrote an article a while back, and it's gotten a lot of reads, but I want to post it in because this is going to be my guide for today, about the marketing. And I want you to know that I am not doing this to upsell my marketing course. You can either come or you won't. I know what I'm great at doing, but it blows my mind. I see all these courses, and they wouldn't exist if people aren't buying them. I charge $59.95 plus that includes the Notary Star level and my marketing course, which covers every aspect of marketing you could possibly conceive of. This is not a plug for my course. This is a plug to go into what we're going to talk about, okay? I see all of these courses charging phenomenal amounts of money, okay, for, little components of marketing. And that's how marketing agencies make money. I tend to throw everything under the umbrella and try to say, here's everything, because the idea is to learn it so that you never have to pay someone again. But when you get little components here and there, it's kind of hard to piece them all together, and you're always wanting more. So as a business owner, the first thing I'm going to say is, when you invest in marketing products or services or courses, you really need to ask yourself, what will I get out of this? What have I heard will I get out of this? Read the reviews. There could be a very few reviews if they just started, but read the reviews. If it was just, it's great. Ask people, what did you learn in the course? Okay. Don't tell me everything, but say, what did you get out of it? Did you take an action out of it? Just a couple of reminders. I posted the article in the chat, and I'll post it to the replay, but these are things that I really feel that you need to know right now, after we've gone over everything for the last few weeks on the coming up, okay? First things first is make sure you are listed where you can actually get hired, okay? That means notary management databases like Signing Order, SnapDocs, ZigSig, notary directories like Notary Stars, 123 Notary, Notary Rotary, hybrid directories and scheduling platforms like Notary Cafe, Free business listings like Google My Business, Yelp, Nextdoor, social media listings are last, and I'll explain that in a minute. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook pages, and TikTok. Now let me explain those. I put those last because you can get clients. I have got clients, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not a big believer that I get more business from social media than anyone. And ask yourself this: when you get on Facebook, are you looking to buy anything? No, you're looking to go in there. It is a repetition thing that you have to do all the time. And unless you're doing it correctly, you're not going to get viable clients out of it. Okay, you might get one every now and then. Great, you scored one. But everything I said before social media is where you're really going to score clients. Okay. You need to showcase your notary business and how it's different, especially if you're in a saturated market. And what do I mean by that? You need to be able to have a company resume just for you. Okay. I learned this and it changed my business. You can walk in the door every day and you can tell someone, I'm a notary signing agent. I'm in this area. I service this area. But when you write down, I took Notary to Pro and this is what I learned. And I took Notary Stars and this is what I learned. And I worked with this client and I learned this. Whenever you apply for a job, you always give a brief synopsis under that job history of what you did at that job. What were your job duties? It's the same thing with training. They don't care if you ever worked at the mall or if you were, what job you were at before. Maybe if you worked in lending and you were a loan officer or a title officer, you can use that, but they don't care about any of that other experience. So lean into your training, lean into your, affiliations. I'm a member of the NNA. Start putting those things on your resume and building your resume that way. I have examples in my marketing course, and if you're in my marketing course, I'd be glad to pull up examples of those. I use the Unlimited Ink Notary company resume, which is 4 pages long now, but that's because it includes an onboarding form. But I'm happy to share those things with you. You can actually go to the Unlimited Ink Notary website for free if you're not in the marketing course, and download it under the title and escrow clients, and kind of get an idea of how to build a company resume and what you should be putting on your company resume. All right. Next thing is I see notaries that want business, but then they don't have a website. And I have to tell you, I've gone over this before. You've seen videos, but a website, we just had a jail booking within the hour. We get one about every 2 to 3 days now. I just built this one page, said I really want to zero in on the jail notaries. Boom, they're rolling in. Sometimes it really blows my team's mind when I say I'm going to go after something. I do teach how to build specific landing pages and go after services and zip codes and everything. And you can't throw a rock without hitting Unlimited Ink anywhere that I want to be on the internet. If you don't have a website that's actually properly SEO'd, and if you had someone design it for you and you don't have control, it's time to get a new one if you really want to go after general notary work. General notary work leads to clients. I used tons of examples. One really quick, I did a $25 signing or $35 signing 7 or 8 years ago here in Phoenix, and I didn't really want to do it, but I hadn't had my cocktail for the night, so I ran up the street to do it. Turns out it was one of the biggest personal injury attorneys in Arizona or in the greater Phoenix area. He uses Unlimited Ink notaries and has for the last 6-7 years religiously, and it doesn't even require notarization. All we do is send them out to do their intake forms, and then we scan them back to his office. They don't even have to drive them back. Great client for us, and it came from a $25, $35 client. I've got tons of examples that way. Sure, you're going to have the one-offs that don't want to pay and all those things, but it's the big clients you're looking for, and you've got to be, it's just like the lottery. You got to be in it to win it. I want to say this, and I understand that we have many different types of notaries out there, okay? I am not saying that any of you need to be aggressive. Some of you don't need the big money that you hear about on the internet. So if that's not you, this part may not be for you. But if you are looking to work less and make more, please hear these words. I am not trying to emulate anyone out there, but don't wait for business to come to you. You have got to walk in the door. Now, if you're in a rural area, you may have to look at the signing agencies. But if you are in a bigger area, there are escrow officers who only want a handful of notaries. They don't want to work with a signing agency. They want to have a personal connection with the notaries. Now, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, but do not wait for business to come to you. You have to walk in the door. You have to have those resumes, those business cards. Please don't buy anything for anyone. I joke about this a lot, but unless they give you a paycheck, don't buy anything for them. In the real world, you don't get jobs for buying cookies. Okay, that's just not how it works. You get your jobs because you are qualified for the position and you can help, and you only want someone to hire you because you are good enough for the job. You do not want to start a relationship with anyone, especially in the workplace, if you have to buy things for that, because cookies will turn into sushi, that will turn in trips to the mall. And I will tell you, I've seen it happen, and it's happened to me too. Okay, so don't do anything unless you get hired based on your merit. This one's kind of funny, but I put it in the article this way to kind of make you laugh. Collect reviews like a fifth grader collects Pokemon cards. You have really got to, work your way with those QR codes. We did community tips on this. Make sure you're asking for reviews every time you do a signing. Even if you do a loan signing, I will tell you, you're not allowed to leave business cards. However, you can have your QR code there so they can leave a review for you, which connects you to your clients. And they can leave a review for you on Google, Yelp, or Notary Stars, or any other site that you ask them to. Okay. Manuel, I'm not sharing the screen. I'm just going over it, but I did put the article into the chat. If you collect those reviews, you will see improvements in your hiring ability or getting hired ability. And here's a little thing that I learned. This actually happened to me. Title company had a complaint, and I said, "Oh, that's funny. I got a 5-star review for them. Let me forward that to you." It was the title company's fault that they were complaining about it. And I just happened to forward the 5-star review that I got for the signing. So they were just looking for a way to do something on their end. And what we say is the notary is always the first one to go under the bus. And if you're working with a great title company, I have title officers that say, "Ronnie, I got to throw somebody on the bus." I'm like, I'm there. But sometimes you don't get that call and you don't know what's going on. And that review can actually help you in a lot of ways. In that article that I posted, it does talk about the ID lanyards that I'm telling you about that you can use. Two last things here, and I'd love to see those hands go up for some questions. And I hope that you guys will read these articles as well. But actually 3 more points. If you're going to run Instagram ads and you're going to run Google ads, please learn to run them correctly. I do go over this in my marketing course, okay? And I need to say this. I'm not a Google expert. I'm not an Instagram expert. And I don't represent myself to be one, but I have made enough mistakes to keep you from making one. When you are hiring people to help you and they tell you that they're a Google expert, ask for the certification and how they can call Google to verify it, because it doesn't exist, okay? So don't let people tell you that they're an expert in something that they're not. You can spend a lot of money really fast on Instagram, Google, and it goes down the drain unless you actually know what you're doing. So please be careful. TikTok, all those things, views don't matter unless the right people are viewing it. This is another, and this one's actually an action item. I said this earlier on another article that I was talking about earlier that I also posted in chat, that your coworkers are not your friends and family. And I had a whole point to that if you just logged in. But on the flip side of that, your friends and family don't work for you, but they can help facilitate the growth of your business. You need to ask your friends and family to effectively support you and give them an action item. If you meet a realtor, if you meet a title officer, make them your eyes and ears, expand your network, let them know, I support our family doing this. and tell them, if you come in contact with these people, grab a business card, tell them what I do, see if you can put me in touch with them. It is that simple and it works. Okay. So use your support system at home. Don't turn them into employees. You don't need to tell them everything. Just tell them, I'm looking for loan officers. I'm looking for title officers or escrow officers or processors, whatever they're called in your state. And I'm looking for realtors. If you meet one of them, grab their card and bring it to me. And that's as simple as that. Bring me the card. And the last one, and I see some of the people on this call today that actually have this going, and it's to formulate or join your own reliable notary network. I cannot stress enough how the success of Unlimited Ink and Notary Stars is because I formulated a local group first. Unlimited Ink, before it was Unlimited Ink, was 8 notaries. And that's where all the business went. We all made $10,000 a month or more because we took the city and divided it into a piece of pie. We shared supplies, we shared resources, we shared knowledge, we shared everything. I'm the last man standing, and it's Unlimited Ink. I'm the one who started it, but pandemic changed everything. But that was the beginning of Unlimited Ink, was a solid notary group. I would not be here if it wasn't for that group. And every single one of them are doing well or on their own now. And they're welcome to Unlimited Ink files, but they have their own books of business and they work with their own clients. And I love that about them. Most of them, we still go to dinner and do things. Some of them have gone their other ways doing other things, and that's okay too. But I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I hadn't started a really close-knit group that I could lean on and they could lean on me, and we shared those responsibilities in the beginning. So please make sure you use that advice. I wanted to kind of start that out today with how you're marketing your notary business and kind of get you into the mindset, because I feel like it's kind of like an exercise right now, just like the mistakes video that I did, avoiding those. The business is coming back, and you really need to get those gears turning and get into play for it, because we kind of been in a different world right now with the downturn, but that downturn is going to start going up and up and up, only up from here. So, these are why I'm starting these off with micro topics. Now we're going to move into questions from everybody. So if you have questions about anything that was mentioned here, or if you have questions just related to the notary industry, you are more than welcome to virtually raise your hand, and we're going to get started with questions. Miss Angela, I would love to hear from you.
So when you were talking about buying things like cookies, etc., I'm trying to decide whether I want to get special pens. I have a friend who went into business and she had these awesome personalized pens, and I got to tell you, they are the best pens of all my pens. I always reach for that pen, but I think they were around $2 to $2.25 a piece, and she bought a bulk amount. And I'm just wondering if that's something worth investing in.
That's a really good question. And, I need to state this before I answer, okay? This is an opinion, because I've bought pens and I don't remember one of those pens bringing me one lick of business. I bought them for conferences. I bought them to go drop off at offices. I bought them to leave in signing rooms when I go. When I sign in a title office and I'm not like the agency, I'm just the notary there, they remove my pens because they want their pens there. They want their logos there. So they're not going, they might keep them at their desk, but it's just a pen to them. They're not in that mind frame of what's on there. With signers, most signers only need a notary, once in a while. So the pen goes in a drawer. They don't really think about it. They're not using it all the time, even though it's an awesome pen. I've never seen a return on investment for having pens. I find that, things that people will keep, and this was my little secret, I put coupons on the back of my business card for local coupons for things. So I use Soothe, Zeal, Booking.com. I made like a whole list of coupons that I got kickbacks on if they used them. And I'm actually doing that. I actually just made them. I've been doing DoorDash as a test that I'm writing a blog about for all of you guys. And I made little things to staple to the bag saying, here's some more local discounts because I get something out of it. And then they're more apt to keep the card because there's something on there they can use. Um, but I never saw any result in pins at all. And if somebody else has, I'd love for you to raise your hand and share. But I truly never saw any result from pins at all. Did you have any other questions for today?
No, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think it's a great question. And if anybody that's here has any advice for Miss Angela on that, if it's worked for you, please. Oh, Miss Judy, you got your hand raised. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just chime in. Let me make you a co-host here because you're going to be here today. There you go. You got to unmute there.
I actually agree with you. I bought pens. I always forgot to give them to people. And when I gave them to people, I'm not sure that they ever got me any business. Today, people want things that they don't have to buy for themselves, like a little flash drive or something that they don't want to have to buy. I think that the pen thing has saturated itself. And by the way, Angela, if you want to buy them, there's a place called National Pens. You can get them for 49 cents. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. And once you buy them, they'll send you coupons for the rest of your life. They will. They'll never forget you. You'll never be lonely.
I also think along that same vein is that this day and age, most things are digital for escrow officers, even their signatures. We notice that when we print them out, their signature is digital, even though the signers have to wet sign it. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. You'll see the digital stamp. They're not using pens. They're just dragging and dropping and placing and running things through things now. So with escrow officers, and most people use their phone and type, and I can't tell you, it's like a challenge now. And I can pull out and show you guys, I've written like 20 books by hand in my, from 20 to 30. And I published 3 of those. I do everything by typing now. So I think the world has changed. Now, Abraham, I don't know if he's here tonight. If he is, raise your hand. But Abraham's got a really great thing going, and he's gotten lots of clients for Unlimited Ink. He's I do a podcast with him, but he's also one of the entire the entire West Coast account representative now for Unlimited Ink. And he does this thing where he sends like little cute gifts. So it might be like a magnifying glass, and he's gotten letters back going, how did you know I needed one of these? Or I didn't know I needed one of these until you sent it. And he'll say things like, can you see the difference? And he sends like little Rubik's cubes, and he says, are you puzzled about the difference between a trained loan signing agent and one that's not? And then they give it to their kids. It's like almost like the Cracker Jack box. Like, anybody that grew up with Cracker Jacks, you even if you don't eat it now, every time you walk by it in the grocery store, you think about it, and you kind of miss those things. So he's got a little thing, and these things cost very little on Amazon. He just gets like little things. He does little bottle openers, that keychains, and some of them you can get monogrammed. And one of the other ones, if you guys are ever going to a conference, I'll tell you right now, 2 things. And then I'll move on to the next question. These are really great ideas, okay? If you're gonna buy anything, a really great makeup bag that is branded on the inside for your company, but not on the outside. Title and escrow is a female-dominated industry, okay? They love, having like something, and they won't just use it for a work trip. If you get a really good one, and you can find like a local artist who makes like cool makeup bags, and buy them for like $6 or so, that's a really great idea. And then you can put all your stuff in it and give it to them, for like conferences. But the other one is lunch boxes. I learned this from the guy that taught 1031 tax exchange 2 years ago here in Arizona. Unlimited Ink. Okay, I will tell you, I spent $16,000 on this conference to be in a booth. We had so much stuff that it was piled up behind us, and it was ridiculous. And all he had was lunch boxes. that were filled with candy and chips and bottled water and soda. And everyone was inside and outside of his little lunch boxes. They were branded for his company on the front of it, but every single one of them, I will never buy the kind of stuff that I bought again. I will only do lunch boxes. Because guess what? People like to snack while they're in that conference. And then they have a reusable lunchbox that they will use. Because if they're going to take their lunch that day or whatever, or their husband when they go home might have it, and they're going to see that forever. So it was a really great learning experience to sit next to someone who knew something better than I did. Okay, Desiree, you have your question, your hand raised there.
Yeah, I have a question about Google getting verified.
Yes.
So I've been trying to get verified, but I'm not able to. And it says that I could do a video, but I try to do the video and it says that I'm unable to upload the video. And then I tried to email them, and then they called me, and then she said I need a picture of the storefront logo, and I said I didn't have one because I'm a mobile business. And then she said they'll call me back, and then they said that they denied it because I can't verify business.
Okay, so what I would recommend is that you delete that listing and start over. And this is why you've probably already disrupted the flow of that listing. So I would get rid of it, wait about a week, and then resubmit it again. And first of all, on the front page of Notary Stars YouTube, I have a free Google My Business. I've had to do this with quite a few of the Notary Stars where we go through and they do the video process. So when you get that new listing going, you need to itemize out everything that they tell you that you're gonna have to do prior to making the video. And it does have to be, kind of a quick video. You want to go ahead and time yourself, practice it to get the video. A long video creates more megabytes, right? So it's going to be harder to upload. In the video, you can say, I don't have a storefront. I am a mobile, I am a mobile notary. I service people outside of my actual physical address. This is my vehicle that I use. You want to get your house number on there. And I would say if you have the ability, like if you live near the cross street signs, to get the street sign on there, and you want to be moving quickly so that you can do it. And don't forget that you can pause the video while you're walking to the next physical point. I would say, I forget how many minutes that they say that they are looking for, but you want to try to make it one continuous video, and you can pause, not stop the video, so you don't have to splice them together. But if you live close enough to the street sign, you want to get the house number on there and explain to them. Now, when you do that, you can still get suspended after they approve it. And when you suspend it, the trick to this is you need a utility bill in your name or your business name, and you need your commission, and you're going to send that to them and say, I've been appointed by the state to serve the people. Then they will let the listing through. One of the biggest problems that I see with notaries is if you don't actually have, if you have an LLC form, you have to have a utility bill or a lease or something when they suspend you to get you back activated. Otherwise, your Google My Business should just be your name, comma Notary Public, because that's what your commission says. So you're going to rely on that, and all your bills are going to be in your name. They won't approve you, and I don't know if this is your problem or not. If you put it in your business name, they're looking for that business logo, but if it's just your name, they're just looking for a house number. And you went back on mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that might be the problem because I have it under like a business name.
Okay. And on the Notary Stars YouTube channel, it's right on the first page there. If you just scroll up under the free marketing videos, I did Google My Business, any suspensions for Google My Business and Yelp listings. So I hope you'll turn to those and just watch them. They're not as long as our general mentorship, so don't think you'll be dedicating hours of your life to it. It is just enough information to help you get up and running.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. And then the next question has come from Harmony.
Mute. Hello?
Yes, there you are.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So quick question, Ronnie. I hear you talking about your marketing class. Can you give a little bit more insight on that? Like, do you have to be a member of Notary Stars in order to be part of your Notary Stars marketing portion? And what is the cost and what does it all include?
So there are two levels of Notary Stars, really. There's Notary Star, which has access to anything that has to do with loan documents, every loan product under the sun. For an additional $25 a month, you unlock the marketing course. So the marketing course has access to all of that as well. It is a completely entirely separate course. In that course, I cover everything from direct marketing to digital marketing, from how to build a website to how to SEO a website to how to, function on Instagram, how to scope LinkedIn. I go over every single aspect of marketing that you could imagine. It is in that course. And if there's ever any questions of things that are not in the course, I will make a course about it. So it's an ongoing, continuing course. It's taught once a week on Wednesdays from 4 till 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I teach live, and then I'm available all week for any questions. If you're watching replays or those sorts of things, I'm always available for my marketing students, just like the Notary Stars. And you can look at the Notary Stars website. I'll actually put a link into the chat. If you're interested, there's actually a page that tells you everything that's in the marketing course. So you can actually go there and see for yourself all of the classes. It's the marketing course overview. I'll just post that into the chat now. It'll give you an idea of every single topic that's currently in the course. And you went back on mute there, but I did send you the unmute in case you just have any more questions.
Yes. So you were saying that, did you say it was $59.99 or something like? Maybe I missed. You said $25 additional for the notaries if you're already part of the Notary Stars. But if you didn't want that and you just wanted your marketing course, is it monthly? Is it?
It is $59.95
per month.
Per month, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was trying to get. Thank you.
No problem. All right, guys, I'm going to do a last call for questions because we want to save enough time for Miss Judi to come in and tell us about her fabulous new book. But if you have any questions that you are sitting on top of at the moment and you want to ask, we would love to get to those. And if not, we're going to open up the floor to Miss Judi. And then if you want to stick around, we're going to be going over after Miss Judi. We're going to cut the feed and we're going to go into a whole new episode about the bank serve letter that went out immediately after that. We're just going to do a feed cut and start from there. So we have 2 more questions up. This is the last call for any questions before we go to Miss Judi. Leah, you have your hand up there raised.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I have a question about, I haven't been on in the last couple of sessions, so sorry, I missed it. However, I do have a question in regards to anyone here who may be wedding officiants. I wanted to know, what if you are a wedding officiant, what are some techniques that you guys use for getting clients? That's it. That's the question.
So I will tell you my experience with getting clients for wedding officiants. Of course, I don't actively market, but when I not now because I don't have time to do weddings, but I love doing them. There are specific websites that you can list yourself on for wedding officiants. Thumbtack is a place, but I find that Thumbtack is not really. It's like kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel. I mean, people who are getting married, looking on Thumbtack, shopping around for it are not really the clients that I would want. I would highly recommend taking the Unboring Wedding course from Mark Grelier. He is absolutely phenomenal and can point you in the right direction. Advertising on a great website, social media actually would work really great for wedding officiants because there's so many hashtags related to the wedding industry. And another place that I think that you'll have great success is a Google My Business listing. with Wedding Officiant, because people that they have a whole category just for that, and I would make a new one for my wedding business. Anywhere that you could list on those directories, but definitely Yelp and Google My Business, because those people turn and they have great SEO power. So I would say use those listings. But if anybody has anything to add to that, please, raise your hand so you can help out, or you can also put it into the chat. Does that help out, get you started in the right direction, Miss Leah?
Yes, I agree with you. That was actually, you actually answered another question I had in regards to the Google My Business profile, the Google Business profile, was should I create a separate profile from what I currently have with my notary business, versus if I should just add it on as a service that I have to my current business, or if I should add a completely different profile page, which you said you think I should.
I think if you can get away with it, absolutely. Because it says people who are looking for notaries are generally not looking for a wedding officiant, and people who are looking for a wedding officiant generally aren't looking for a notary. I would split those into 2 separate businesses and even 2 separate websites.
Okay. Yeah, and I agree with the thumbtack thing. I think it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I really think it is.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we got 2 last questions up. We have Joel from Montana up there. How you feeling, Joel?
A lot better.
Good.
Thanks, Ronnie. Yeah, it was just a kind of a off the wall thing that took me totally by surprise, but fortunately, everything worked out, and so I'm back at it and actually feeling kind of normal again. My quick question is that I was wanting to get deeper into SEO, and I know you have a lot of great resources in Notary Stars, and I bought this book and I have kind of mixed feelings about it, but let's see, let me get my.
Well, I see one word that I already love on there.
What word is that?
It says Wix.
Yes.
Yes.
So have you ever heard of this guy?
No, I have not.
Okay. And so I have some mixed feelings about this particular book. He actually has 3. So he's got this, he's got, Wix blogging, and then, so I went whole hog and bought all 3 of them. But I was, my question is, do you have a book that you could recommend that really does a deep dive into SEO?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you asked, and I will plug this. So I did a seminar, and you are in my marketing course, so you have access to it as part of the marketing course. I did a seminar last year and a seminar this year with everything you need to know and exactly how to do it with SEO. And I actually shared that with Wix after the conference, and they were like, wow. The lady
Cool.
at the meeting leaned over into the computer and said, "You are one smart guy." So I actually showed her everything that I teach the students in that course. And I actually have Wix mentors, so that's why I was intrigued about the book. So I'll probably read those if he's allowed to use their name on the cover of the book. I would say that that's probably good, because they're big on us not being able to use them unless we become a partner of some sort. So he's got to have some kind of partner relationship. So I'll go out and look those up. But I don't do it in the form of writing. I've already written my 3 books in life, and I don't plan on writing anymore. I'm glad that you read the book. That's how I learned a lot about SEO, but I do everything by video and show and tell. And it is already in your course. Now, I will say this, anybody that's interested in it, and this was not a plug, but it came up, so I'm just gonna say this. Anybody that's actually interested in taking my SEO course, you don't have to be a marketing member. Just go to the Notary Stars website, scroll down to our a la carte sessions, and it would be the SEO marketing. You'll get this year's and last year's courses. So you'll have everything from last year and this year. I don't know if I shared my screen or not. So it's on the Notary Stars website about midways down. You would have everything from this year and last year. It teach you everything you need to know in order to make your pages come up on the first page of Google. And anybody in my marketing class will tell you I can put my money where my mouth is.
That's great, Ronnie. Thanks. I wasn't sure if the same, deep dive was in.
I will read the book, but I will read it just to make sure I'm not missing anything, because people may have tips and tricks. Sometimes you have to be careful, because sometimes people teach you what they call black hat tricks that only work temporarily, and then you get found out by Google. I only teach like really good SEO for the long haul. But I would love to read the book, so I'll go out and look it up and read it. But again, my method is show and tell, because I just don't have time to sit down and write a book anymore.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, without further ado, we're going to spotlight Miss Judi here. And Miss Judi, you guys know her as the Queen of Apostilles. But Miss Judi, you are stopping by tonight because you have a new book out, right?
I do. And first, before I talk about anything, I want to tell you that I carefully made a note. You don't get jobs by buying cookies. And I think that might be the title of one of my next books, because I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. And I don't think that stopping by and giving the receptionist candy and all that, I don't think it works. I think let me say this. Everything that you said tonight, I agree with, because you are telling people the correct way of getting clients. So you are out there and you are telling people the correct method of getting clients, how to market. What I decided to do was not take on that role, but take on the role of, now you've got the clients, how are you going to keep them? So that is what I decided to do. I am writing a 10 series. I'm writing 10 little books. They're not big books. Jitters is right here in my hand, and it's like 37 pages. But I have been getting some unbelievable feedback about Jitters, because what got me onto this thing, if you will, of doing this is all the calls I was getting from people who were saying to me, I took your course and I love your course, and I love apostilles, or I'm a loan signing agent and I can't do a loan signing. I can't go do a loan signing because I'm scared. And then I was talking to Bill one day, and he was kind of getting the same feedback. I can't do this because I'm scared. And I love my students, Ronnie. I'm a lot like you. I mean, I'm available for them. I help them. I want to see them grow. I want to see them do well. And I don't want them to be scared, because there really isn't anything to be scared about if you follow the right path. And the right path is to treat people the way you would like to be treated. Put yourself in someone else's shoes and treat people the way you would like to be treated. And apostilles, loan signings, I did write the book, obviously, for people that are doing apostilles, but it blossomed into not just apostilles, but notaries who are in business When I teach my course, and many of you have been to my course, one of the things I talk about is my toothpaste theory. And people look at me and they go, what's your toothpaste theory? Well, my toothpaste theory is this. If you owned a pharmacy, you would go out and you would say, well, today I got to order Crest and Colgate and Sensodyne. And I need those three. And you would call the person that you're going to order from and say, just pack up the box, put an invoice in there, and I'll pay you for it as soon as I get it. It's that simple. Then you take us, you take notaries, and nothing simple about us because we've got a lot of things we have to think about. So if you're an apostille agent, you have to think about, is it a Hague country? Is it a non-Hague country? Is it going to go to the Department of State or the Secretary of State? What's the fee? You've got a million questions. If you're a loan signing agent, you have to say, okay, how am I going to get this work? How am I going to get this person in escrow to look at me? Am I going to buy cookies, or am I going to buy pens, or what am I going to do? So we as notaries, it's not like toothpaste. It's we have to learn and we have to grow. And as we learn and as we grow, we have to be careful, because somewhere I read, and I'm quoting something that I don't know where I read it, but it can take you a year to get a client and 60 seconds to lose one. And so it made me stop, and it made me say, okay, I am going to help people to not just get clients, but keep them. So that first phone call, Jitters is the first phone call. And Jitters is, I got the jitters because these people are calling and I don't know what to tell them. And so in my book, I outlined for you the first phone call, how important it is to be friendly, to speak in a confident voice, not to say, oh, well, this is my first time and I don't really know, so I'll try to figure it out. And you just get on that phone and you say, well, hello, sir, and it's my pleasure to talk to you today. And by the way, I do have 2 calls holding, but let me take a little bit of information from you and I'll get back to you within 45 minutes. And that 45 minutes will give you a chance to call Judi or call Ronnie or call Amy or call someone, because what you want to do is make sure that that person deems you to be an expert. And I'm not suggesting anybody lie. This is an omission. You do not have to tell somebody, this is the very first time anybody has ever called me for a signing and I'm scared to death and I don't know what to do.
Miss Judi, you're reminding me of, I worked at the museum in Atlanta, the High Museum of Art, for 6 years, and I got to go to Paris and travel and do things.
Did you?
It was amazing. But, this is about the time with Google was on the BlackBerry, and I had patrons that would come up to me and say, they would ask me a question about a painting, and I would say, you know what, let me go look up something in the office. My office was actually a closet around the gallery. It was not an office. They gave me a closet and I had a computer in there, and I would go look up information and to come back and would just regurgitate it. And they'd be like, you're so smart. How did you learn all this? And I used to laugh and say, Google. But that was different. It was art. It was easy to give them information, print off something, bring it back. But that's how I, was so successful, was just telling someone confidently, let me go look up something, or I'll be right back with that information.
Right.
I have a printout that I might be able to, let me check and see if I have a printout about this.
Let me do something.
Yes.
And let me make, because remember, anybody, your new clients wouldn't be your clients if they didn't have a problem. Whether that problem is, how am I going to get my deed package signed? Who's going to go to my closing for me? How am I going to get these apostilles done? How am I going to get this job done remotely? Because I don't know anybody. Each person has an issue and has a problem, and we're the solver. We're the problem solver. We're the one that's going to come in and say, not a problem. We can handle this, and not a problem because I know what you need. Now, I know that in the beginning, you're not going to know as much as I do because I've got 6 or 7 years on you in the apostille world. So I know that, but that doesn't mean you don't know a whole lot. That doesn't mean you've taken a course, you've invested time, you've invested money. Sometimes people come back to, Ronnie, you must have the same thing. Sometimes people come back to my course 3 and 4 or 5 times because they just want to get more and they want to hear it again. And I encourage that. I say, the first time you hear it one way, the second time you already heard little bits and pieces of it, and maybe you're going to hear some things that you missed the first time around. So I encourage that. I also encourage you to understand that these people need you, like I said, to be their expert, to be their problem solver. And if you can do that, if you can speak confidently, professionally, nothing wrong. I'm a Legal Shield person. And when I first started with Legal Shield, Phil Shannon said, anytime you get a client on the phone, immediately merge me in. And I thought to myself, why is he telling me to merge him in? I know how to talk. I know how to deal with people. I know exactly what to do. Well, guess what? I didn't. And Phil is with the company for 37 years. So when he would get on the phone, by the time he would talk for 3 minutes, they already bought whatever it was that Phil had to sell them. And what I did was I took notes. I took notes about what he was telling them, how he was telling them, how he was explaining it to them. But guess what? It worked like a charm because he was the expert and I was not. And I learned how to say to people, I have a colleague that's been doing this for almost 40 years now. And I think I would like you to talk to both of us. And they didn't mind. Nobody minded. What people mind is when they have the edgy feeling that they're talking to someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. They're talking to someone. So I have little examples in the book. So for example, how this is really silly, but asking someone their name. So saying, what is your name? Now, I always say, what is your name? And are there going to be other signers on these documents beside you? Why do I do that? I do that because maybe it's Beth, but maybe Beth is actually doing it for Ronnie. So I've taken the order from Beth, but now I'm going to start getting calls from Ronnie, and I don't know who he is because the only person whose name I took was Beth. So there are little tricks to the trade that you can do to make life easier for yourself. You can ask people, where are your documents originating from? Which is the hardest thing that apostille agents have to learn because it's not easy. It's back to the toothpaste theory. So I'll give you a good example. Let's pretend that I have 5 children. And let's pretend that I went to Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. And each place I stopped, I popped out another kid. So now I want all 5 of those birth certificates to be apostilled. Well, that means 5 documents originated in 5 different places. And it means I have to go get those documents apostilled in 5 different places. It becomes, in the beginning, a little bit difficult for people until they've done 3 or 4. And when they've done 3 or 4, then they call me and they say, oh, Judi, you never told me it was this easy. You never told me. If you told me it was this easy, and then they get a non-Hague country. And a non-Hague country is totally different than a Hague country. And it has to go to more places, and it requires more work. And then they call me and they say, oh, I never want to do another non-Hague country again. I just want the simple ones. I want the easy ones. And when I'm finished with them, when I get these complicated ones, I'm just going to send them to you. No, you can't do that. You have to learn how to do what's easy, and you have to learn how to do what is a little bit harder. And then one of the things I stress in my book, and I couldn't mean this anymore, under promise, over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. If you think these documents are going to be done on Thursday, tell them Friday. And that gives you an extra day in case your car breaks down on the road, or in case there's a hurricane or a tornado watch or something, anything. And maybe it's not going to actually get done till, tell them Friday, and then call them up and surprise them and say, I know I told you Friday, but guess what? Your documents are already here. What are they going to do? They're going to come in and they're going to think you are the greatest thing since chocolate chip cookies, because they were nervous and they weren't sure. A lot of people who go to get things done, and again, I'm saying apostilles, I'm saying loan signings, I'm saying all these things, it's new to them sometimes. And they're trusting you, and they're putting their trust in you, whether it's because they have read that you have all 5-star reviews, or whether their friend down the street told them you were really good. It doesn't matter. They're trusting you. And so what you need to do, always keep in your mind, always forefront in your mind, I got this client, I have to keep them. I have to make sure that if they come back, if they need work again, and I just had a really interesting call yesterday. This guy called me, he said he wanted an apostille. He said, you know, he's going to send it to me because it doesn't require notarization. And he said to me, next time you do, this time, he said, maybe you could do a little bit better of a job than you did the last time. So it was such an odd thing for someone to say. So I said to him, what do you mean? He said, well, it was in the middle of the pandemic. And I mean, he had all kinds of things were going on. But I asked him, well, if I didn't do a good job, why did you come back? And he said, because you were professional. You told me about the delays. You didn't ghost me. You didn't not answer my calls. I have no complaints about you or your service. So these are the things that are in this book. It's just to say, keep what you have. The next book, and I haven't told anybody this yet, but the next book, I'm going to announce it to all you Notary Stars people, because I love Beth and Ronnie. The next book is called Oops. And Oops is about how you treat making mistakes. What happens when you make mistakes? Do you own up to them? How do you talk to the client about them? How do you handle mistakes? Because we all make them. We're human and we make them. The bad thing, of course, is if we keep making the same mistake over again, because if you do that, then you're not paying attention and you're not learning. But actually, it's a longer book than this. There are so many things. There's just so many things that you need to learn. You know, a bad review, what do you do? How do you handle it? Even if you know you didn't do anything wrong, even if it was a person that came in there and they were angry before they got there, how do you do it so that your company looks good? So that's the next one. It's coming out in about 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. And I hope to get 10 books so that, and again, you all know that I do apostilles. I do apostille training. I have a big apostille business that I love very much, but I'm not doing this to sell books or make money. this was not, this costs 99 cents on Kindle and $4.99 if you want the hard copy. I'm truly doing it so that you'll have something in your hand and you can look at it and say, I heard what she said, confidently, professionally. Don't let the client think, oh, well, I'm going to call the next one. I don't need this person. This person just sounds like she has no idea what she's doing. So these are all the things that I have in this little book, and I hope you buy it. I hope you read it. And like I said, Ronnie's teaching you how to get the clients. Judy's then backing it up and saying, okay, you got them.
So Judy, didn't I hear you say that you are working on intake forms for apostille work as well?
I am. I have a brand new one. I'd be happy to share it with all of you because I just shared it with all of my own students. So I can send it to you. And you can share it with your students. It's not totally different, but there are differences, and anyone that would like to access it, I'm happy to share it. One of these 10 books is going to be just forms. One of these 10 books is going to be just different forms that people ask me about that I can share. Some of them, one of the problems with sharing forms is that certain forms that I use in Pennsylvania, you can't use in California. So I can't put forms out and say, this is a form that you can use because you might not be able to. So, but yeah, we're working on number 2. And I do think that there's you don't get jobs by buying cookies. What a great title for a book, Randy.
Yeah, I'd like 10% of that book, please.
I'd like you to write it with me. Would you write it with me?
Yes, I'll help you write it.
Okay. It doesn't take
I
very
would
long.
love to write that. Miss
Okay.
Judy, you said something about the next book, and it talked about, how to handle mistakes. And I just have to take this moment. We lost Carol Ray last year, and then now we've lost Barbara Ray. I have been quiet about that. They were both very close to me. But with that book coming out, I hope that you'll take this quote, maybe put it into that book if you can. But Carol had a saying that I teach a lot of notaries, and I always give her credit for this saying.
What is it?
I posted it into the chat, but Carol was famous for this saying in the notary community because, mistakes are a big thing for us. And she said, it's not the mistakes we make that people remember, it's how quickly we will remedy them.
It's not mistakes we made, people will remember. It's
Yeah,
not that we can use that.
If you were a Notary to Pro graduate, or if you've ever taken the course, I'm sure you've heard that before, but the Carol's saying was, it's not the mistakes that we make that people remember, it's how quickly we remedy them.
I wonder if we can quote Carol.
We'd have to reach out to Michael about that, and I'm sure that we can.
Because it would be really fun if we could quote Carol.
Now is probably not the time.
We could dedicate the book to Carol, because, but yeah, Ronnie, I would love to talk to you about maybe the third one, because these are something that people need. They need to know. Marketing, what you're doing is phenomenal. Teaching all this marketing and SEO and all that, that's all phenomenal. But then they have to get to a point where they got all this knowledge, they have to use it wisely. And they have to understand that, destination wedding people and people like that who don't understand English sometimes very well. And you need to treat them like you would want to be treated. So that's Jitters. And I hope that you'll all read it. And I hope that you'll all pop me an email, tell me if you like it. And if you have a topic that you think you would appreciate, I can't promise, I can't swear, but I will entertain it because I've got 8 of these to go. Well, no, Ronnie and I are going to do one now. So I've got 7 of these to go.
All right, Miss Judy. First of all, I want to thank you for coming by. We always love it when you stop by. If you guys have not noticed, Judi is one of the trainers that Notary Stars endorses on the homepage. So we endorse trainers throughout the country. We are looking for more. I see that we have one here tonight, Lisa Duffy as well. She'll be here next week. She's not only a trainer, but she's also a Notary Star, but she is the live scan trainer that will be here next week. So please mark your calendar. If you are interested in live scan or fingerprinting, Lisa Duffy will be here. But Judi Lawrence has been part of Notary Star since I launched. Literally, like within the first year, she was one of the first people that appeared here to talk about Apostille. I wish I could teach you guys everything. I mean, honestly, do you know how great it would be? I'd be on Hawaii right now. I charge very little at Notary Stars for the loan signing and then for the marketing. So I don't get to go to Hawaii and do things and travel. And I probably shouldn't say that because Bill Soroka just posted he was going to Hawaii. That's not a jab at him. I literally could charge more for what we do here, but my passion project, I will always say this: Notary Stars has been my passion project. I don't get rich from this. I make my money at Unlimited Ink Notary. Unlimited Ink Notary is a multi-million-dollar company, literally. Notary Stars, I maybe break even. We've got 10,000 users through the site that come and go and all those things, and that's great. But honestly, this is a break from my real life at Unlimited Ink, where I have to break the horse of the brand new notary that didn't have any training, even though I have all these Notary Stars out there. It's the one in the rural area that hasn't taken anything but the NNA. This is an amazing hour for me every week that we get to do this. And I want to thank Miss Judi for coming back.
And I have a question.
Yes.
We're gonna all get together in Arizona?
Absolutely. For those that are coming to the NNA, we're working on something, but I'm not attending the NNA. You'll get text messages from the the app that from Notary Stars if you're going. But I live here in Arizona. Judy's going to be here. Amy Seitz is going to be there. I know Sue Hope from Notary Assist is going to be there. We'll all be trying to finagle ways to get together outside of the conference. But here's my personal take, and I have no shame in saying it. I've been a notary for over a decade, and I'm not a first-time notary, so I don't really go to the NNA. I did when I was a first-time notary, and I recommend it. But I'm kind of outside of that. I'm more in the advanced training arena. I don't consider Notary Stars, something for getting started with your business. I consider it something when you're ready to really learn, because the NNA gives you barely enough to get started, and for good reason, because the way they're formulated and all of those things. So we'll all be in the area. So we'll look for an email to say, hey, come meet us at this place or this bar or this bowling alley, where you can actually meet us in real life. And I'm also a big fan. Everybody asks me, why don't you do a Notary Stars conference? And I'm going to say this, and I say it publicly, because I don't want to charge people more to hug my neck or hug them. If I run into you in real life, first things first, introduce yourself if we haven't talked on the phone and I don't know your face, because I've had this happen where people just pick up and bear hug me and like, you're the guy from the internet. And I'm like, oh, okay, who are you? But I don't want to charge people for the knowledge that they can get for $29.95 a month and have to bring in vendors and all those things. I think it's ridiculous actually to put on conferences that are truly large. And I know Judi has a conference, but that's different because it's more a localized thing. I can't do the NNA and they can't do me. I just do things my way and differently. And I will make myself available that weekend, but I'm not going to the conference because I did it. I've already done it twice when I was a newer notary. I've moved on to advanced training. And if you're going, I'm glad for you, but I'll be available off campus, as well as Judi and Amy and Sue Hope. If you're in that beginning stages, please don't think that I'm looking down on you. It's just that I don't really have a place there because I'm not trying to sell anything for a high dollar ticket item. I put everything you can get under the hood for $29.95 a month. So there's no way that they could bring Ronnie Mickle, Beth Hathoot, and Travis Myers under that roof and us pay to be there. It just doesn't make sense. My whole MO is to do the most for the least amount of money. With that said, we've had a guest in the house tonight, and I know sometimes you guys don't turn on your cameras for our signature wave, but if you are one of the 99 viewers that are still here, and we've been up higher than that tonight, I want you to turn on your cameras. And I'm going to say it like this, and keep in mind, we're going to cut the feed and come back. But for our guest, for Miss Judi Lawrence, the Queen of Apostilles, okay, I would like for you to turn on your cameras. If you are not naked and you are not stuffing your mouth with a sandwich right now, I want you to turn on those cameras and wave our signature wave. Welcome Miss Judi and send her off.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to see all those cameras on. Come on, everybody. I'm going to start calling names if you don't turn them on, because we have a guest in the house tonight.
This was really fun. Thank
So
you.
let's turn on those. Yeah, I see all. We've almost got the first screen lit up. I'm going to start calling names on the second screen. I don't care if you got
Thank
your
you,
bottoms off and
everybody.
your tops on. Let's turn those cameras
Ronnie,
on.
Ronnie, I'd like to come back soon.
You come back anytime you want.
Okay.
All right, guys. Miss Beth, how do we say it here at Notary Stars?
Whatever way each of us is called to gather, even social media, just never stop watering those seeds of human decency. Be kind, be truthful, loving, and caring, and help that notary next to you. Bring them along on that journey, guys.
All right, guys, I'm going to cut the feed for this one, and we're going right into a new episode.